I put her on my shirt.
I saw that.
Cool.
Yeah.
She's driving the VW Bug too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Turn around, I can't see.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, behind the bus. You made that yourself, huh?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Telling that. I like
Thank
that.
you. And I got my sloth nails. Like, I'm ready. I've been ready.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen sloth nails before.
I saw the sloth socks somebody had on. Those were pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, so she transfers on her Snuggie. We say to her night-night, and that is how she knows that she's going to see a new person. And then she is going to hang around your neck. You support her underneath like this, so she doesn't hold on so hard around your neck. There you go. And let me pull the Snuggie out. There you are. All right, and let me get out of the way of both of your cameras. So Zoe is a two-fingered sloth, and Zoe is 14 months old. She's been here since she was 5.5 months old. Do either of you cameramen want that window shut behind us?
That's all right.
You good with it? Okay. So where are you guys in from today?
Other side. Just right outside of Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh, good. Good. Somebody was here from Jackson, Tennessee a couple days ago because I was like, how do I know the word Jackson, Tennessee? And I think it's a Darius Rucker song, right?
Or Johnny Cash. I'm going to Jackson.
I don't know that one. My daughter likes to sing Johnny Cash songs, but more Folsom Prison. So Zoe is almost her full adult mass, but nowhere near her full maturity. So if you saw the big guy, his claws are about like that long. Her claws are like about this long. If you saw the big guy, his teeth are like about that long. Her teeth are about that long. Their teeth grow throughout their life. They have no enamel on their teeth. So rodents, their two buck teeth are what grow for all their life, and they sharpen them on external things. Sloths, their fang teeth grow for all their life, and they sharpen like this, one tooth against the other. So if you're hearing a little noise while you're holding her, that's her sharpening her teeth, one against the other. So, and don't worry about these cameras. You can walk around wherever you get the best pictures. It's about your experience, not about the cameras. The sloths, everyone knows that sloths are slow, of course, but sloths are slow in ways that you may not realize that a sloth is slow. So they're slow in their digestion, metabolism, metabolic processes, life, growing. Everything about a sloth is slow. So their digestion, the first studies on how slowly a sloth digests its food, they put some 3mm glass beads into some sloth's food and just waited to see how long it took them to come out the other end. That was 61 to 64 days. So that was the beginning theory. Then later they seems that glass just doesn't go the way food goes. So later they put some durable dyes onto some various types of food, and that was more in the 18 to 30 days time frame. So that's the current thought on how slowly a sloth digests its food. The sloths eat a tremendous amount of food though. 10% of their body weight every single day.
Wow.
So, human perspective, I weigh 180. That would be me rolling into Outback and saying, bring me 18 of the 16-ounce porterhouse steaks, and I'm going to plow through them all. The sloth, though, only goes to the bathroom once in 7 to 10 days, solid and liquid at the same time. When they do go to the bathroom, and she's within about a day or so of her trip to the bathroom, they lose 1/3 of their body mass. So the last time she went, I had weighed her the day before. She was 14.5. The next morning she weighed 11.1. So it is literally 1/3 of their body mass. So that would be like me dropping off a bag of dog food in a 5-gallon bucket all at one time. 1/3 of 180. So they don't even go tinkle between trips down the tree. When they go to the bathroom, they come all the way down the tree, same side of the tree, go to the bathroom on the exact same spot they always go on. That is because of the sloth-moth symbiotic relationship. So it is a symbiosis beneficial to both sides, and the benefit to the moth, which there is a type of moth in the world called a sloth moth that lives nowhere on earth except the fur and the waste pile of a sloth. The benefit to the moth is that the sloth is the food source and the living environment of the moth. So as the sloth goes up and down the trees, the moth is always with it. There's between 100 and 150 moths living in there for all of the time, in the wild, not here. So the moths are eating the moss and algae that are in the sloth's fur, and that's their food source. That's all that they eat. The only reasons that the moth will leave the sloth in its lifetime are to drink water that pools up in the leaves in the top of the rainforest, or to go into the waste pile to lay their eggs. So when the sloth comes down the tree, the moths fly down off of the sloth into the waste pile. They lay their eggs all in the waste. And then from there, it's basically row, row, row your boat. Gotta open the gate for somebody, 1 second. Hello? Great, so stay left. So the benefit to the moth is that's where it lives. When it comes down the tree, they fly down and lay their eggs in the waste pile, and then from there it's row, row, row your boat. So this week's eggs are next week's larvae, 2 weeks away is moths. So every time it comes down the tree, there are new moths that are going to fly up onto the sloth and live their entire life on the sloth. The benefit to the sloth is that the sloth digests its food by a bacterial process, not so much enzymes, but mainly bacteria. The source of the bacteria is the waste of the moths. So as the sloth grooms himself, he licks up a certain amount of the moths themselves, that provides him with some protein, and he licks up a certain amount of the waste of the moths. That's how he replaces his gut bacteria. Now for us, what would kill our gut bacteria is antibiotics. Take a lot of antibiotics, you need some probiotics or some Greek yogurt, fix you back up. He doesn't have GNC, he doesn't have Publix. So he needs a different source for his gut bacteria. What would kill their gut bacteria is cold temperature. If they get cold, the moths, the waste of the moths is what replenishes their gut bacteria. It is a proven fact that if a sloth loses its moth colony, the sloth will starve to death. So if you're a believer in the evolution system of things, you would have a desperately hard time describing symbiotic relationships, how an insect evolved up this chain and a mammal evolved up that chain, and now the two of them have become inextricably locked and cannot move forward one without the other. The reason that they don't need moths in captivity is we never ever let them get cold. So we never need to replace our gut bacteria unless we take antibiotics. They don't need to replace theirs unless they get cold. We don't ever let them get cold, so they don't need the moths here. But other things that you may not know about a sloth, their eyes have a structure called rod monochromacy. That means they have all rod cells, no cone cells. So they never see in color, chromatic vision. They see only in black and white. Even in this low level of light we have in here, they're seeing just shapes and shadows. She can't see the difference between you and me. But in bright sunlight, they will, they'll be completely blind. At nighttime, their vision is better, but it's still terrible. So they're working primarily off of sense of smell and hearing. So for better or worse, they know what I smell like and they know what I sound like. So, my monotone voice may not be great for the camera, but it's great for the sloths. They like it. And the difference between the baby sloths and the adult sloth, the adult sloth we don't ever hold. He wasn't raised that way. It's not normal to him. Might stress him, so we never hold him. I've been one-on-one with that sloth every day for 3.5 years. I think I've missed maybe 20 days in 3.5 years. I'm usually with him at least an hour a day, and I have never held that sloth. Just wouldn't be normal to him. These ones are raised to be ambassador animals from the time that they're born, and they just actively seek human attention. But they do. Our sloths here only do 2 encounters a day. They look forward to it. It is the high point of their day. And if I had the time to stand with you and you had the time to sit there, that sloth would happily sit on your lap for the rest of the day. And and when they're in the house, they sit on somebody's lap all day, every day. Sit on our lap, hang around our neck. The tiny babies, Dash only weighs 1.7 pounds right now. He like clings onto your bicep and just hangs here all day long. And that brings me to a point that when a sloth is hanging like this, the sloths, their relaxed state is with their hands clamped down tight. Their stress or exertion state is opening their hands. That's exerting energy. This is not. So if a sloth is hanging like on this bar that Flash hangs here on during his encounters, it is so true that he is exerting no energy at all, that if he died, he wouldn't fall. If a sloth dies, it could continue to hang there for days or weeks until something rots or until something knocks it out of the tree. And there's no limit to how long a sloth can hang. Yeah, it doesn't look like they'd be that soft, right? It looks like they'd be wire haired, doesn't it? Yeah. Are you taking a turn holding, or are you just a sloth enabler?
Yeah.
That is often the case, that we have one sloth enabler and one sloth aficionado, lover, whatever. So what were you doing in Paris?
We were elsewhere honeymoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got married. 5 years ago?
Cool.
Yeah, we just got back from Italy. We love to travel.
Oh, my wife just got back from Italy. She was in Aviano because my son-in-law is in the Air Force, and that's where he's stationed.
Oh, nice.
So they're like 1 hour from Venice by car, or 2-hour train ride to Rome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I'm retired from the Navy, so I've been everywhere. But my wife was flying to Ukraine a while back, and she had a long layover in Paris, and I'm like, oh, you should go have dinner at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And she was by herself, though. She said it was the most miserable experience ever. That you're in the most romantic place on earth, but alone. So everybody in the whole restaurant's like staring at you, wondering if the woman got stood up at the dinner at the Eiffel Tower or what. She said, never do that. Never go to the Eiffel Tower alone.
Yeah.
So where'd you go in Italy?
We went Venice, Florence, and Rome.
Oh, nice.
We did a whole tour.
The last time my wife went, not this time they didn't do any trips. The last time she went, I'm telling you, you absolutely have to go to Rome. Gotta go to Rome. Gotta go to Rome. And they're like, They didn't sign up till like the day before. And you gotta buy those Sistine Chapel tickets, 2 months out.
Yeah.
And so they got in at the last minute on a tour, but you gotta plan those things.
Mm-hmm. We had planned and bought. We booked it in April.
June. We booked it in June to go in November.
June to go in November.
That's the way to do it.
And we booked with a shady travel agency and didn't know they were shady. 24 hours before time to leave, they canceled our
Entire
stuff. Yeah.
they got there for their trip and they're standing there where everybody's checking in. And after everybody checks in, they're like, "Oh, we're out of space. You can't go." And there was my wife and my daughter with our grandkids, and there was one other couple with 2 kids. And so somebody said that the thing is that kids are free, but the travel agency only gets so many slots. So a kid slot takes up one of their slots for no money. So if you're there with kids, they just toss you aside and take somebody that pays. And but we just went to Turkey, and that was with a tour company called Signature Tours. They're out of Atlanta. Oh my gosh, that was just first class all the way. I just couldn't say enough good about Signature Tours, and I don't get paid to say anything good about it, but that was a fantastic, well organized, first class. Everything was great. You ride in Mercedes tour buses everywhere. When you pull up to the restaurant, you know, there were 36 people on the bus. They've already got the tables set, all roped off where your group sits. The waiter's standing there waiting to bring you the food. You eat the meal, you get back on the bus, and you go to the next thing. The hotels were all 5-star hotels.
Wow.
You know, you get done with dinner and you go sit in the sauna or the Turkish bath and go to sleep and do it again the next day. It was wonderful. If I was booking a tour with a company, it would be Signature Tours.
Yeah.
The first time we went to Paris, we went through Gate 1 travel, and they were amazing.
Yeah.
But
They're amazing because they were cheap.
yeah,
Like
we went for $2,400 for 9 days.
for both.
That's cheap.
For both
Total.
of us.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
flight, hotel.
Signature
breakfast.
Tours was not that,
Right.
but it was fantastic. But I hadn't been on a vacation in, I don't know, 5 years. I just don't leave the farm. I mean, I've been everywhere and done everything, so there isn't that much for me to do. But my wife is not retired from the Navy. She's not been everywhere, so you know, we're trying to get out and do a few things before one of us gets any older, which is me. And but yeah, so if we do actually leave the farm, you know, we're gonna try to do it right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. How do you guys get funding for this out here? Just the people?
Write checks. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope that this will be the first year that I make a profit. So far, I'm just way into this. But our social medias have really blown up. Big props to our guy Kevin. And that's making us pretty busy out here, so that's working well. And 24 is the first year that we were open to non-lodging guests. You know, this is primarily stay here, play here. And so people that are staying on the farm were the only ones that were doing any of these encounters. But, you know, it was just our animals being bored all day and us not filling, you know, 20% of the slots that we had for people to do encounters. So we still do, we hold back a couple of encounters that our lodging guests get first crack at up to 24 hours before the event. Like the tiny baby sloth snuggle, you have to be staying here to do that. Unless it's within 24 hours of the event, then anybody can book it. I mean, they had their chance. But people fly here from literally all over the globe to come and see these sloths. And the other thing, I mean, we have 40, 50 breeds of animals here. And not just everywhere you can pet a camel and a coatimundi and micro squirrels. And, you know, there's a lot of animals here. And the difference between us and a zoo is that everything here is see it, touch it, pet it, hold it. We select not only the breeds of animals for suitability with people, but the animals themselves for suitability with people. And so all of our animals here are completely people-oriented. And our sloths are not like other sloths. And I usually do give a disclaimer sometime during the live to say, please don't look what we're doing here and think it's a good idea to buy a sloth. It is absolutely not. If you find a sloth that you can buy on the internet, you are buying an animal that was kidnapped out of the rainforest, and it will not go like this. This is the difference between a house cat and a feral cat. If you take any wild animal and try to have it live in your house, it is not going to go well. And in the case of a sloth, the sloth is not likely to survive because it stresses them so badly. But our sloths here are many generations of captive bred. Generationally, these are probably further from the rainforest than I am from the American Revolution. And so they would have no better idea how to survive in the rainforest than your house cat would if you threw it out in the woods. But similarly, for people that see what we're doing here and go, oh, gee, I'm going to buy myself a sloth. That's so cool. Please don't do that. You're getting an animal that was kidnapped from the rainforest. And then particular to this encounter here, I mean, we take an amount of pride in what we do. We genuinely love all of our animals. But there are a lot of places out there that it's just about the money. And they book those sloths for many hours a day. And some places even pull their teeth, so it's not possible for them to bite you. Ours are very, very different than that. Ours do 2 encounters a day, and they like what they do. They look forward to it. And if they have a day,
Rubber belly?
she hates rubbing her belly. Yeah, she just wants you to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Speed of a sloth. But they genuinely like what they do. They look forward to it, and they really do love people. Probably a smell in your lotion or something.
Yeah. You smell that?
There's a good picture right there.
Sweet girl. Yeah, you're a sweet girl, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Yeah, the babies sit around our necks for hundreds of hours before they come down with people.
It makes me wanna have another baby. I mean, I can't have any more babies, but they're so sweet.
How many you have now?
We have 2. They're 17 and 18, so they're not babies anymore.
I have 10. Mine range from 20 to 38.
Wow.
My wife didn't birth 10. Half of them were adopted from Ukraine. But we had a lot of kids. That's the sound of a tortoise.
Oh, those are real tortoises. I thought they were
Yep.
just a shell. Okay.
No, they're inside here because it's cold outside.
I thought
Thought it was a decoration.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an armadillo running around here too somewhere. Little 3-banded armadillo. I'm gonna let you sit there with her for a few while I go find my next group.
Alright.
What do you think, baby kangaroos, buddy?
She said you go.
She's supposed to pay.
Huh?
Said she's supposed to pay.
Where are you guys in from today? Oh, excellent. Love it when our locals come. People from all over the world and all over the country, but locals don't show up. Don't know why. Oh, cool.
Do I take another couple pictures?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Those are so good.
But behind your shoulder is the wall right there.
All right, guys, go ahead and hand sanitizer. We'll be ready to go.
Go get somebody new, okay? Come get somebody.
They're getting rid of our. You can give me a quick shot there if you like.
Get ready to retire. I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna live here with you, okay? Yeah. 10 kids
How's it going, guys?
All right, come on in, y'all.